Here we go, mate. Fucking rolling on a river. Appreciate your time. Evolve coaching.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's great to be on here.
Hey, you said something literally 2 minutes ago about teaching people up within 12 weeks to be
Mhm.
independent for their own eating, right? For their own nutrition.
Yeah, exactly.
Where did that concept come from?
Over the years, realistically, I am kind of my ideal client, if that makes sense. A few years ago, I jumped in with a couple of coaches and I was always set up with a meal plan or macro tracking and all that kind of stuff. But, once the 8 weeks or 12 weeks ends, or once you want to be able to leave that coach as well, you're kind of stuck. Like I was stuck eating 100 grams of rice and 100 grams of chicken, and I had no idea what else I could eat apart from that. So the whole
Yeah.
idea behind it was that I could teach people how to make their own recipes and how to be self-sufficient rather than needing someone else to tell them what they need to eat for the rest of their life, because that's never going to be realistic. And in my opinion, it's kind of a waste of money.
100% a waste of money, mate. It's fast bucks, fast dollars. If it arrives fast, it's probably going to leave fast, mate. It's not worth it.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah. So my whole idea behind Evolve anyway was just to try and teach people. That's what I love doing anyway. I love mentoring them. I love being able to teach them everything from the basics of nutrition, proteins, fats, carbs, where you can find them, to how you can construct a recipe for yourself, to performance nutrition when you should be eating carbohydrates around your training or recovery and all of that kind of stuff as well. So really just being able to set people up for not only just the basics, but also to be able to perform their best in terms of any sort of exercise or training and that kind of stuff as well.
I love it, mate. That's why I reached out, because it's something that the general population look at it as, oh no, I need to go to this complete specialist and pay 5K, and I need the handheld for the rest of my life, or something I'll never understand, right? And I'm just gonna eat my Weetabix in for breakfast, my beige plates for dinner and stuff like that. And it's like, no, it's not that complicated. It depends how much we go into that Pandora's box, right? But it's like we can have a healthy lifestyle and figure this out with ourselves, right? But we need a little bit of guidance. And I love that 12-week concept. I think it's cool as shit. Like, we are educators and facilitators as well as coaches. I
Yeah.
think if our athletes or our quote unquote clients, right, haven't learned anything from us, then we've done them a disservice. We've literally just exchanged time for dollars. And that gets into a pretty weird mental rabbit hole. I don't like that thought.
It definitely does. I mean, like you said before as well, nutrition can be as complex or as simple as you want. Realistically, you can break your plate up into protein, fats, carbs, and a handful of veggies, and that'll be pretty much good to go.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you can dive all the way into all of the micro minerals and vitamins and everything as well, and make it as complex as you possibly want. But my idea is to kind of keep it nice and simple, make it really, really easy. It shouldn't be hard, and if it is, then you might be doing something a little bit wrong, or something might not be quite on track.
Mm. And let's be honest, for the most part, for most people, they don't need
Yeah.
the nitty gritty.
No, no,
They
not at
need an
all.
80/20. It's
Yeah,
just,
completely.
yeah, it just break it down simply, right? And even for a business model for yourself, like, there's 8 billion people on the planet. If
Yeah.
if you see different people every 12 weeks, you're gonna be all right. Like, you're not
Exactly.
gonna
And I
live until you're a million years old.
completely. And like, I mean, in my opinion, anyway, I love working with such a massive variety of people. The more people that I can help, the better, because everyone's story is so different. So it keeps my job really interesting as well. I find if I'm working with the same person for a very, very long period of time, obviously it's amazing. And I do definitely love my clients, but it's nice being able to have different conversations rather than
Yeah.
repeating the same conversation every single week as well.
Yeah, and we learn from them more than they learn from us, let's be honest.
Oh yeah, 100%. My clients have taught me so many things, especially about human behavior.
Oh, what is the biggest thing that coaching has taught you?
Patience, definitely patience, and that I cannot control other people's actions as much as I would possibly like to. Everyone has their own decisions and their own choices. So yeah, probably that I would say.
So funny. Like, I will ask that question to a lot of coaches around the world, right? And I
Mm,
would say, 90% of them say patience.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of hard to realize, especially as a coach. In an ideal world, I would be able to get my clients to do whatever I wanted. On paper, it would be amazing, but in
Yeah.
real life, it doesn't happen at all. And everyone will do their own kind of thing. But it's nice to be able to help their hand on their journey rather than sort of push them into something.
I'm going to put it out there. It's easier to coach kids than it is adults.
Definitely. Yeah. Especially since adults kind of have their own way of thinking and everything as well, that you might need to reteach them, especially when it comes to things like nutrition and everything as well. People tend to have ideas around what's going to be the best for them, which it might not necessarily be true.
And let's be honest, adults don't do it anyway.
No, no, definitely not.
You're like, yep, okay, coach, yep, no problem, no questions, I'm all good. And then 2 weeks later, they're in the same boat. You're like, did you do what I said? Well, you're like, so the answer is no. I mean, let's have the same conversation in a different way.
Yeah, see what works best the next time.
Patience, mate. If you could sell that in a bottle, we'd be very rich.
Be worth a lot of money.
Yeah.
That
yeah.
and confidence, I think, would be the two.
That and confidence. That's also another massive one. You alluded to gym anxiety, and I fucking love how you're touching on that, especially to bring ladies into a gym, because it is fucking intimidating as shit, right? It doesn't matter if it's like a City Fitness, doesn't matter if it's a global gym style, a Zumba, a Reform Pilates, a CrossFit gym. They're all intimidating. It's all nervous. Somebody else is in front of you telling you what to do, usually telling you how you're doing things wrong, right? And then you've got eyes on everywhere and everybody's in their own head, and it gets a little too much, right?
Yes. And like with the women that I tend to have these conversations with as well, they're always talking about how they're worried they're going to be doing something wrong, or people might stare at them or judge them for any sort of reason as well. But one thing that I love to say is that everyone is in the gym just to improve themselves. It's not really a place that people go to do anything but that. So at the end of the day, you're there to improve yourself as well. You're paying the same gym membership fees and you're allowed to take up that space. Realistically, I've been a PT for years, and when I first started at the gym, my technique definitely wasn't the best, and I'm sure everyone had that starting point. So that's just their starting point, right? They're always going to grow from there as well.
That's right. And you are going to come across some fucking knob jockeys in the gym, right?
Yes,
it is the way it is. But if we're able to improve our physical competency, right, we can now move our body. We can now know what a barbell is and a dumbbell and the difference between them and how we lift it and a deadlift, a squat, an overhead, whatever it is, right? Stretch, whatever it is. I kind of know what this thing is. Now we have the confidence to be like, you know what, fuck you, man. Like, don't worry about it. You do your thing, I do my thing, and we go in separate ways. And I think the more confident people get, with a sense of humility with it, as soon as the confidence goes up, humility needs to come with it as well. I don't think we should be arrogant, right? Like that is a slippery slope. But the more confident people get, I think the better, because they want to discuss ideas. They have things to say. They have a little bit more cooperation between themselves and the coach. They, hey guys, how are you doing? You all right? Like, actually, Alex, like, I'm having a bad week. I want to know that. I don't want you to be like, yeah, good. Yeah, sound. Yeah, fine. Like, because it's just surface level. Let's get into the weeds, man. How you doing? Shit. All right. Why? What do you need? What do you want?
Yeah. I mean, it is really good to have that relationship with your clients and everything as well. I mean, the more open, the better. Naturally, like you mentioned as well, if something happens with your mental health or outside of your life in the gym in general, then that's naturally going to affect your physical health and the way that you're kind of performing, and even just the amount that you can lift can be affected just by something that might have happened that morning if you're not necessarily switched on. So it's really, really good as a coach to be able to know all of those kind of things as well, as little as they might be. Even if you didn't sleep well that night, that's going to affect your performance massively. So yeah, definitely that as well.
Yeah, and you're teaching people to be self-aware. You're asking questions that they have to think about the answer. Like, how do I feel? What did happen yesterday, last week? How are my family doing? Just these little things, right? It's like, yeah, those are the questions that you can now ask yourself when I'm not in the gym, when you're not in the gym, when I'm not ringing your phone. Like, it's like, yeah, it's self-aware. Like, be accountable to yourself.
And it's not even just being accountable to yourself. It can be taken in a couple of different ways. Even when we look at nutrition, it's like, after having a meal, am I full? Did that satiate me? How am I feeling? Are my energy levels okay? What was that like? Did I enjoy the meal, or did I kind of force it down? Did I actually not like what I was eating in the first place? Maybe I should try and switch that up a little bit as well. But yeah, definitely. That's a really good point.
Why do you do what you do?
So I actually studied nursing for a couple of years before I moved into PT and sports nutrition.
Cool.
And I loved it to an extent, but I kind of realized that there were so many people that I was just trying to fix on the opposite end of the spectrum in terms of health of where I wanted to be. In an ideal world, I love to be able to prevent disease rather than try and fix it. So that's kind of what I'm trying to do here with my job and everything as well, especially with the nutrition side of things. That's where we can prevent so many diseases. It's unreal. I mean, even hypertension, type 2 diabetes, and lower cholesterol before it gets way too high. That kind of stuff is just so important. So yeah, I made the switch from nursing to PT. I was actually studying both at the same time just because I love to overwork myself sometimes.
Legend.
Definitely. Yeah. After that, I moved into gym management. And then from there, I went into PT, so one-on-one clients, and I've worked in a few of the biggest gyms in New Zealand and Australia, which is really cool. From there, I then decided to study sports nutrition with the Sports Nutrition Association of New Zealand and Australia, which is probably one of the best courses that I definitely did. I'm now a couple of months out of finishing my postgrad diploma in high performance nutrition, which is really cool.
Congratulations.
Yes. So in a roundabout way, I pretty much just want to be able to prevent disease rather than fix it and set people up for life so that they don't necessarily need any more coaches and stuff. Because I've been there and I've had like 5, 6, 7 coaches. I could probably count them on 2 hands if I needed to, but they didn't really teach me anything. They just gave me a plan, which isn't necessarily going to work.
That question of why is really important. And I think it's really important for coaches to ask themselves, and myself included, of if I cannot answer the question of why, then they shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah, of course. And especially with coaching and everything as well, like realistically, if I didn't have my why, if I didn't know why I was doing this in the first place, I probably would have dropped off by now. I don't think I would be able to continue with this job just because there's a lot of emotion attached to being able to coach people all the time. And some of the stories that they tell you, you need to be able to separate yourself slightly from that as well. So if I didn't necessarily know the reason behind why I was doing it in the first place, it will probably take too much of an emotional toll on me as a person as well. So it's just something to be aware of.
It's also another great point. Yeah. I mean, I did mean the specifics of why we're doing a pull up, for example. Why am I eating this? But like, that is also a fantastic point. No. I love it. I love it. Go off in whatever rabbit hole tangents you want. Like, I can talk shit to me all day. It's all good. But yeah, it's so true. I think we need to have a very good grasp of where we would like this individual to go. Okay, cool. You're here. You've got this goal. I want to understand why you want this goal. Cool. We're going to take you on a journey, or at least I'm going to help facilitate you on this journey. But also where yourself wants to go, and be able to disassociate yourself from those two paths. You're not fucking putting them on stabilizers and you being the donkey just walking them to Bethlehem. It's not going to happen like that, because you're just going to be burnt out and quit the industry and, I don't know, do something else, right? Like fucking start accounting or something completely different. It's it is bizarre how much people open up to a fitness coach, mate. It makes me tear up and laugh at the same time, because I'm like, we teach adult PE here, guys. Like we when you really break it down, we're kind of the ADHD kids, the dyslexic kids that just like to move around a little bit, aren't the greatest on the book smart sense. But then you're opening up about having an affair, about having mental health problems, having addictions, and you're just like, whoa, hold on a minute. Let's slow down. We were talking about a bench press, and I didn't need to know about casino and cocaine.
I guess sometimes as well, especially with in-person PTs, we're kind of that other person in their life that's not really attached to anyone else that they might know. So it's a lot easier to open up to someone like that compared to, say, one of your best friends if they've known you for years and they know everyone else in your life and everything as well. It's very, very different. So I can definitely understand why it happens, but it's more how we can go about it as well. So sometimes I have had conversations with my clients and everything about mental health and how they might need to reach out for help. And it's great to have a referral system set up for that just in case. Because realistically, people do have mental health issues, and it's great that people are able to open up to us. It's more so that we need to be able to be proactive about that as well, rather than responsive.
Exactly. Prevent, right? Let's open the conversation early. Like, how you doing? Like, how are you today? Are you a 5? Are you a 10? Like,
Yeah, of course. And even with my clients, I love to use, like you just mentioned, the 5 and 10 out of like 10 in terms of simple things. Like if you could rate your body confidence right now on a scale of 1 to 10, where are you sitting?
Okay.
I've had clients that aren't even able to leave the house because of the way that they look, which obviously isn't ideal. So it's just another unit of measurement that we can use apart from just, you know, your scale weight or the way that your body looks. It can also be things like confidence or being able to go out for a walk with your friends and everything as well. So in a few weeks' time, after we've worked on those things, it's okay. So on a scale of 1 to 10, a few weeks ago, you mentioned that you might have been a 1, like you were really struggling. Right now, if we can make it to a 4, do you think that that's going to be a massive improvement for you, and how will that affect your life? So even those kind of things are really, really important conversations to be able to have with people, just so they can get that physical measurement that's not necessarily just associated with a bench press or how much they can lift or the way that they look and everything as well.
Yeah, mate, that's huge. You know, at the end of the day, you're turning the subjective into an objective, and they're able to see it on a screen or on a piece of paper, right? And they can't really bullshit because they're the ones who came up with the number. You know, it's like, yeah, that you objectively feel better, you know, because
Yeah,
you can see it. The number has gone up, and you're the one who's created that. You're the one who's like, oh yeah, I'm a 3. It's like, yeah, you were fucking 1 the other week. And that's
yeah.
progress, mate.
It definitely is. And in the nicest way possible, it's great as a coach to be able to use their own words against them rather than trying to use your words sometimes. It's so much more powerful.
100%. You know, sometimes you got to dangle the carrot, you
Mm,
know, and you've just got to kind of spin it in a way where they come to their own conclusion. In
yeah,
fact, you've put all the jigsaw pieces in a line and they are faced up, right? So all they have to do is connect the dots. But sometimes you gotta allow them to do that by themselves and then praise them for getting there all by themselves, right? When in fact, you
definitely.
know,
Yeah,
a
I
little
think
bit powers in play.
of course. And I think with like our job as coaches and everything as well, asking the right questions is so, so important. Um, it's great as clients if they will be able to, like you said, come to their own conclusions and everything as well, but they're not going to be able to do that without necessarily having the right questions to be able to think about in the first place.
Mm.
So even you mentioned before as well, their why. So working out what their why is and the why they want to achieve their goals in the first place. Without knowing that, then there's no way that they'll be able to do it. It's just going to be way too hard and they'll throw it in that too hard basket. But we want to try and move it away from that too hard basket and have those tools like the why and the how to be able to do that for themselves.
Where would you like Evolve to go?
In a few years' time, I would definitely love to expand a lot more. I love my job, so I will probably never step away from coaching myself. It's definitely why I do it. But yeah, ideally, I would love to expand a lot more worldwide, help as many people as I possibly can. The business model is kind of set up in a way where clients move through rather than we hold on to them. So the more people that I can reach, the better. Ideally, I've been looking into hiring an eating disorder practitioner and everything as well. So hopefully moving towards that direction to be able to help more people in that way. Possibly looking into other coaches with other specialties and everything as well. Possibly a psychologist would be amazing, just to help with those kind of difficult conversations that we might need to have as well.
I mean, that's fucking fantastic, mate. You know, I think everything in one place and bridging on the gap of education
Mm,
of, hey guys, this is kind of like a graduation. You know, you're going to get a diploma or a fucking certificate or a high five, whatever, right? You're going to get the tools needed to take you from A to B,
yeah,
and you're going to end up doing it. Yeah, okay. There's going to be people along the way with signposts. I'm going to help you through it, but you're the one who's going to get through it, and then the confidence from that.
of course.
And again, they're going to
Yeah.
be a walking billboard. It's a great business model. They're never going to have a bad thing to say about it, you know.
Of course. And I mean, like the more people that I can set up for life, the better, in my opinion. Like I said before as well, my why is working out how to prevent disease rather than how to fix it. And if one person is able to refer me to the next person, which is then going to prevent them from having a heart attack, as an example, that fills my cup every single day.
What got you on that path of preventative medicine?
Um, when I was studying nursing, I did see a lot of people that had, especially type 2 diabetes, which is a preventable condition. It's a lifestyle disease. And with that as well, it came a lot of, without getting too in depth with it as well, there's a lot of injuries that can be associated with that and skin conditions and everything as well. And that can severely affect people's lives. Um, to the point where they don't go outside and they don't exercise, or I'm working with an amazing woman at the moment, but she can't get in a pool because she loves swimming, but just with her skin and the way that it is currently, it's not realistic. So certain things like that as well, it's just improving people's quality of life. So I just love being able to be that person for other people as well. I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, mate. I think life ends up signposting where you need to go. You know, I don't know whether it's a hippy dippy thing. I don't know if it's a spiritual thing. I don't know if it's fucking coincidence, fate. I don't know. I'm blonde, mate. As you can see, like the only thing I know is I know nothing at the end of the day.
Okay. I completely agree. And I think like I've been on my own path, and realistically, I thought that I was going to be a nurse to start off with. And what I do is definitely not nursing. But I've been on so many different pathways in my journey and everything as well. I've tried nursing, I tried PT, I tried gym management and everything as well. And I've kind of fallen into this path, but I feel like this is definitely the path that I want to be on as well. So everyone's journeys takes, turns and leaps and bounds. But where I am right now, I'm feeling pretty happy with my journey, and it's great that I'm able to affect other people's journeys as well. So hopefully we can be that turning point for them in their journey that's actually going to solve everything, rather than just another coach that's kind of, pushing them on their way.
And again, it's another beautiful example of, you might get a little bump or a little bruise or a little spun around a few times, but it doesn't mean you have to go back. It's just like bumper cars. You just get bumped off into the next thing, and to the next thing, and to the next thing. And you slowly end up meandering down that fucking river. And then you find the sea. That's where you're supposed to be.
Definitely. And it depends on the way that you look at it. You can either look at things like it's a really negative experience that this happened to me, or we can try and flip it into, oh, that was a really good lesson, and this is what I'm going to take away from it. And I think being able to have that change in mindset is massive. Even just looking at things as lessons. Like I learned a lesson that, I went to university for nursing and I didn't enjoy it, but I made the lesson or the learning that I was able to, move on. And it did definitely teach me so many things that I'm able to use with my clients now, which is incredible. But I wouldn't have had that learning, both the university education as well as being able to have the confidence to be able to leave that education with where I am now if I didn't make those choices.
What gave you that mindset?
I think I've always been quite outgoing, I would say. I did used to be very, very shy when I was younger, but things kind of changed, and I love throwing myself so far in the deep end, it's unreal.
Sink or swim, mate.
Exactly, sink or swim. I mean, when you've got no other option, you've got to swim, right? That's just how it is. And I love kind of being able to do that as well. But I think over the years, I've just had so many experiences of, I can either be a negative person and I can be stuck in this negative mindset, but realistically, it's that question of who do I actually want to be? Do I want to be known as that negative person that's always stuck in that horrible mindset of why is this happening to me? I can't do this. The world is so bad around me. Everything is affecting my journey. Or we can try and flip that to, wow, I'm so glad that I got to have this experience because it taught me this lesson. And I really want to be known as that really positive person in the room. And I want to be that person that's really, comfortable, that people can come to and that people can talk to and everything as well. And realistically, if I was that negative person, I'm never going to be that person for other people as well. I want to be that person that, is really happy and outgoing and courageous and confident and smart and funny. And I just need to make those choices for myself as well.
That's a great point. It's a fantastic point. If you want to help somebody and you're really introverted and shy and insular, how are you going to help somebody? How are you going to lead somebody else? And leadership, in my opinion, is everybody. Everybody can lead.
Yeah.
You're either going to lead them astray or you're going to lead them to a better path. And if we're just kind of sat around under the covers, just like, oh, I'm shy, introverted, down, depressed, whatever, it's like, you're not leading anybody.
Completely. And I think realistically, confidence is a choice. When I was younger, I used to be so shy. It's ridiculous. Like on every single one of my school reports, it would always be like, Renee needs to talk more. She's way too quiet. I remember I was sitting next to this guy in stats class for an entire year. I didn't have a single conversation with him because I was way too nervous.
Wow.
I went from that person to realistically, nursing helped me in more than just the ways of my education, but it also forced me to go and talk to the patients when I was feeling really, nervous and really introverted, and having those kind of difficult conversations with people about, hey, your health might might not be the best right now, especially when they're really, really vulnerable. Trying to grow in that way for myself was really, really important. And then obviously being a PT, you're self-employed. Realistically, if I was quiet, I would not have an income right now, which I learned the hard way to start with, but it does over time. But yeah, like I mentioned before as well, confidence is a thing that you can grow. It's just another muscle. It's just learning how to do that as well.
I like that. Confidence is something you can grow.
It is, completely.
Do you have to fake it?
I don't necessarily call it fake it, but what I love to do is try and visualize the person that I want to be, and then I try to step into being that person. So say if in a year's time I wanted to be this really confident, happy, courageous, amazing person, I would then try and envision that person and try and think about the traits that they would have. So, if that courageous, confident person was to then walk into a room or walk into a board meeting and I needed to have that kind of personality, what traits would they have? Like what posture would they have? How would they be holding themselves? What words would they say? Even that kind of stuff as well. So then you can try and step into that person, maybe a little bit early, but it just takes time. It's just practice. Same as anything else. When you're new to the gym, it's just practice. I had no idea how to squat when I first tried weightlifting, but now I do. And it's just confidence and time more than anything else.
For sure. You have to prove to yourself your competency, and then usually behind that is a whole array of failure. It's like, yeah, but you got up and you tried again and you proved to yourself after fucking up, nothing happens. The world keeps spinning. Everybody forgets about it in a week, and it's over with. You just say, okay, get back up, brush myself off, put a little band-aid on if you need to, and then we'll get back in the fight. That's literally it, man. And eventually, I don't think you have to fake it. You've proven to yourself that you're going to be okay. Even if everything else falls apart, everybody else leaves you. It's just you and your Billy Bob. You'll be all right.
Yeah.
You're a savage.
I mean, it's even like you said as well, proving to yourself, that's probably the most important thing. I mean, where is the evidence that you're not a confident person? Where is the evidence that you could be? It's just looking for that evidence within your life and everything as well. And if I can be that person that's going to help other people find that evidence in terms of how they're going to be a confident person, it's just finding little pieces. It doesn't need to be anything big to start with. It could be, I was able to order for the table this time when we went out for dinner. I wouldn't have been able to do that a few years ago. Even things like that, it just builds over time. And then we can maybe move into, I went and talked to this new person at a coffee shop because I wanted to, make friends with them. They looked like a really lovely person, or I asked for this person's name or their phone number and that kind of stuff as well. It's literally just small things that we need to build up over time.
Tiny things, mate. Small things are the big things.
Exactly. Just that 1% better every day, right?
1%, man. Sometimes it's even a fraction of that percent, mate.
Mm-hmm.
Keep swinging that bat. Eventually, we're going to get a home run.
Exactly. Yeah.
I learned the other day that the Hall of Famers in baseball have a 30% home run rate.
Yeah. When you think of it like that as well, it's not actually that much.
It's wild.
Yeah.
It's only 3 out of 10. I got a hit. Okay, cool. Let's do that. I can do 3 out of 10.
And one thing I love to say to all my clients as well is it's the same in business. Imagine if I told you needed to fail 10 times and the 11th time you were going to exceed so well that it made your entire life completely different. Like how excited would you be to fail? I know that I would love to fail 10 times. It really doesn't seem like that much in the long term. But when you look at it the other way and it's like, oh, I've had another failure this time as well. It didn't work out this time. Like try and flip it and just be like, okay, well, it didn't work out this time, but I need to fail twice more and then I'm going to make it. Like small little changes in your mindset like that can make such a massive, drastic difference.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's one of the greatest lessons and the greatest gifts is failing, fucking up, rock bottom, slipping down the slide, whatever it is, right? I think it's such a gift. We can gain so much from it.
Yeah, and fail forward. You don't always have to fail backwards. Fail forward. It's always going to be a lesson. You might as well take the learning from it.
I like it. Mate, I got 3 questions.
Yeah.
What's the greatest piece of life advice you've ever received?
Nothing has to be perfect. I was definitely a perfectionist when I was younger. I used to think that I needed to be 100% to be able to start anything, and that stopped me from doing a lot in my life. So yeah, you don't have to be 100%. No one is 100%. It's unrealistic and it's never going to happen. So you might as well start now.
I like it. What's the worst piece of life advice you've ever received?
Oh, That's probably a lot harder. I wouldn't necessarily say that I've had any ridiculously bad advice that's really shaped the way that my life is currently. I think for myself anyway, I kind of came to the conclusion that I was able to make my own choices without necessarily having other people's advice affect me way too much. So I
Nice.
wouldn't necessarily say that I would have bad advice. It's all been like I've all been able to take it in one way or another, and I can either listen to it or not.
Walk your own path, man. The way I think about it is, you know, other people's opinions is got nothing to do with me. You
Yeah,
know, everyone's
yeah,
entitled for their opinion, even if it's about you, right? Cool.
yeah, definitely. And especially with our jobs and everything as well, people are going to have opinions left, right, and
Oh,
center, but if you can listen to them or not.
it's crazy. I'm sure there's a ton of people out there that think, in fact, I know there's a ton of people out there that think I'm a cunt. It's all good. Whatever,
Yeah.
man. I'll just add yourself to the list. It's all good. I'll just carry on. You know, fucking whatever. Last question.
Mhm.
What are the 3 words you would tell your younger self?
Just try it. Just give it a go. There's no
Nice.
harm in trying.
Why?
I think I was way too scared of holding myself back when I was younger. I would be terrified to try anything new. And realistically, trying things that are new to me is what's got me where I am today. I moved countries by myself to a place that I didn't know anyone, never been there before. I tried it, didn't quite work out the way that I wanted it to, but I loved it and it taught me so many lessons. And without that, I wouldn't be where I am today.
I think everybody needs to leave home.
Yeah, you grow so much as a person.
Oh, mate. Fucking A. I think everybody needs to pack their bags, get on a train, a plane, or in the car and fuck off somewhere in a one-way ticket and figure it out. Even if you just come back to where you came from, the
Yeah,
lesson that you learn.
exactly. Yeah, the lesson that you learn and the people skills that you get. Like when you're traveling by yourself as well, you need to get out of your comfort zone and you need to force yourself to talk to people. Otherwise, you could have 6 months not even having a conversation with someone. And, that's never going to happen realistically. So we just need to try and, yeah, like I said, just try it. There's no harm in trying.
Not gonna lie, I love it. One-way tickets, man. That's the only way I live my life.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
me and my 2 hands and just see you later. The power of the pen, I'll just write it down, bleed through ink, and then just fuck off. See you later. Send you a postcard.
Yeah, no, it's a good way to be.
Life's about stories. You
Mm-hmm.
can't take much else with you, but you can leave the
No.
stories behind. What's $50 gonna do for someone? They might buy somebody a couple rounds of beers. You leave somebody a house. Okay, great. You leave them a story, you can inspire them.
Yeah,
And mate, I just want to say thank you for sharing a bit of yours.
of course. Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it. It was nice chatting.
Yeah, it's cool as fuck, man. It's cool as fuck. Appreciate it. And you have a great day. We'll speak
You
soon.
too. Definitely. Okay, I'll see you later.
Legend. See you, everybody.
Bye.